Hi there, this is Datila and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Monday, March 13th, 2023, which means that tonight I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw. As we are 19 days away from WrestleMania, we continue to build towards WrestleMania. And tonight, before I get into the review, I want to talk about Cody Rhodes. He cut a promo tonight on Raw where he called out Paul Heyman. And this was after his match against LA Knight. I will talk more about the match when we get to the review, but first I just want to focus on this promo. So after his match, he keeps talking about how he keeps hearing warnings from Heyman to stay out of Bloodline business. And he doesn't work for the Bloodline nor Paul Heyman, and that if he wants to stand alongside Sami Zayn or fight alongside Kevin Owens, he will do that. And Cody Rhodes says that he's been told not to make this personal. Cody Rhodes reiterates the fact that it's joke because it's been personal since he first debuted at 21 in front of these same cameramen. It's personal when week after week he's choked up fighting back tears. It's personal when you wear a protective coat of armor. He's not talking about his robe. He's talking about a tailored suit that he wears not because he thinks he's somebody, but because he wants to be somebody. He says that how Paul Heyman talks about acknowledging Roman Reigns. Well, Cody Rhodes goes on to say that he acknowledges Roman Reigns and wants Roman to acknowledge him. Cody says that he's not perfect, but his time since coming back to WWE has been perfect. He's undefeated. He says that he grew up thinking that he was a prince in this industry, but he has no crown, no chip, no master sword, no undisputed WWE Universal Championship. He goes on to say that he's waited his whole life and will wait no more. And on April 2nd, he will become the first Rhodes to say that he's undisputed WWE Universal Champion. I like this promo with Cody Rhodes. Cody acknowledges Roman Reigns, and he wants Roman Reigns to acknowledge him, which is crazy because Roman Reigns, considers himself the head of the table, the tribal chief, and I don't think Roman Reigns is going to acknowledge Cody Rhodes unless Cody beats him. My one issue with this is I feel like this was more directed at Paul Heyman than it was at Roman Reigns. I did like that line where Cody Rhodes says that he does acknowledge Roman, but I just feel like overall this is more directed at Paul Heyman, and the feud is between Roman and Cody, not Cody and Paul Heyman. There's 19 days left before WrestleMania. We got to get more out of Cody and Roman, and later on in the night we find out that Roman Reigns is going to be at Raw next week in St. Louis, so we need to get more interactions between Roman and Cody. Yes, Cody Rhodes is cutting these fantastic promos, but we need more. I feel like we need more. But overall, I really like the promo. But again, I felt like it was more directed at Paul Heyman than it was at Roman Reigns. And I personally, I don't know how you guys feel, but I personally just want more out of Cody and Roman than Cody and Paul Heyman. Don't get me wrong. The first exchange between Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes was great, but we need more interaction between Roman and Cody than Cody and Paul Heyman. Like, I get it. Roman is part-time, so it's really hard to have Roman be on every episode of Raw and every episode of SmackDown, which is why they're doing Cody and Heyman while they're having these interactions instead of Roman and Cody. I guess you can make the argument that those small interactions between them is what makes their interaction special. But come on, we have 19 days left before WrestleMania. We need something besides promos. I feel like they're not going to allow them to touch or to get into a brawl because they're saving that for Mania. But what did you guys think of Cody Rhodes' promo? Let me know in the comments down below. Well, with that being said, let's kick off this Raw review, which started with an Edge promo. He basically called out Finn Balor because he wants to end this. Like, they've been feuding for a while. Edge even points this out. So Finn Balor comes out and says he wants to hear what Edge has to say. Edge says that he didn't come here to say anything but came to end this. He says that for the last year of his comeback, he has wasted it feuding with Judgment Day, and the year prior he wrestled in front of a bunch of TV screens. He talks about how Judgment Day every other week has left him laying, made him utter two words he never thought he'd say, "I quit," and Beth Phoenix still got hit with the concerto. And there's only one way to end this. He says at WrestleMania, it will be Edge versus Finn Balor inside Hell in the Cell. Finn Balor says he's been to hell and it couldn't handle his demon. So I'm with Edge. I feel like this has to end at WrestleMania. This feud cannot go past WrestleMania. I'm actually liking that it's Hell in the Cell. Maybe we'll get a Demon King back. It's been a while since we've seen Demon King. Okay, so then afterwards, Judgment Day goes after Edge, but Dexter, Lumis, Candice LeRae, and Johnny Gargano all come to Edge's defense, and this leads into the opening contest, which is Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis versus Judgment Day. So one thing to note on here, if you guys are paying attention, Kevin Patrick on commentary called Backlash WrestleMania Backlash. I really hope that was just a mistake on his end, and that's not what the pay-per-view is going to be called. Dominic channeling his inner Eddie Guerrero by doing the Three Amigos to Johnny Gargano. Also like the fact that he attempted to do the 619 on Johnny Gargano, but he missed. And again, he hits the frog splash to Dexter Lumis, which is not enough to win him the match, but ultimately Judgment Day is victorious, so it's no surprise there that they are victorious. Judgment Day, since Triple H took over creative, has been booked really strong, and so tonight is no exception. But it was a decent match, if you ask me. So we get a quick backstage segment that starts off being The Miz. And Chad Gable asks Miz if he's seen Otis, and he tells him that he just got there, but he suggests that Chad Gable distribute flyers. Kathy Kelly asks Miz if he's considered having a co-host, but before he can answer, it cuts to Damage Control attacking Trish Stratus. So next we get Brock Lesnar and Omos face-to-face, and MVP starts talking about how Lesnar is a great athlete, but a terrible tactic, and the worst mistake Lesnar has made is accepting a match against Omos. So the crowd starts chanting, "Holy shit," and basically this whole segment is almost like balling up a fist and like pushing it towards Lesnar's face. Both men shake hands, but then Lesnar stops on Omos, and Omos botches, but he sends Lesnar over the ropes. I was not a fan of this segment at all. I'm not the least excited about Lesnar versus Omos. I could care less about Lesnar versus Omos. This feud is terrible. This match is going to be terrible. I might actually just watch to see how bad of a train wreck it's going to be, but I could care less about this match. Then we get Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight, which actually was not a bad match. I actually really enjoyed this match. I'm wondering why LA Knight is on Raw when he's on SmackDown Superstar, but wild card, I guess. But I feel bad for LA Knight because ever since his feud with Bray Wyatt, he hasn't been doing much, and he's with 19 days left to go to WrestleMania, it doesn't look like he's going to be on the card. And like he says, you can't have WrestleMania in LA without LA Knight. Like, I didn't mind his feud with Bray Wyatt, but like after that, it's like, what has LA Knight done? Like, he lost to Xavier Woods off of a distraction. Like, seriously, off of a distraction of all places. I just, like, the most significant thing LA Knight has done has been his feud with Bray Wyatt. But aside from that, LA Knight hasn't done anything at all. So I feel for LA Knight. I really hope he gets to be on the WrestleMania card, but it's gonna suck is WrestleMania in LA and he gets left off the card. So then after this match, we get a Cody Rhodes promo, which I talked about at the beginning. Then we get a Seth Freakin Rollins backstage interview, and he's talking about Logan Paul, but The Miz interrupts him and lets him know that Logan Paul is going to be there next week, and he's going to host an episode of Impulsive Live in the ring, and Miz is going to be the special guest. Corbin then shows up and asks Miz to be his co-host. Miz says he has pull, but not a lot. And then Corbin says that he wants to give some boxing lessons to Seth Rollins. And Corbin says he would knock out Rollins faster than Logan. So I'm not sure what they're doing with Baron Corbin here, but I think they're just setting him up to lose, potentially to go back to broke Baron Corbin. Then we get Elias versus Bronson Reed, which is essentially a squash match because Bronson Reed wins. And this match was as a result of Rick Booz getting this match for Elias. So we get another backstage segment with Chad Gable asking around for Otis and showing the missing flyer. And we get Becky Lynch and Lita checking on Trish Stratus. Then it cuts to Kevin Owens doing a backstage interview. He basically is talking about how he's fighting on his own. He doesn't need Sami Zayn. He doesn't need or want Cody's help. And he means what he says when he doesn't want Cody out there. He wants Cody to focus on WrestleMania and doesn't want to be the reason Cody doesn't go to Mania. So obviously with 19 days left to go, we gotta reunite Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They got a challenge for those tag titles. Okay, so before we get Angelo Dawkins versus Austin Theory, we see how this match comes to be. So we get Austin Theory and the Street Profits in a backstage segment with Montez Ford calling Austin Theory a baby John Cena who wants to see some ruthless aggression. This is not too well with Theory. So he says that he at least got what he wanted, which was a match against Cena. He talks about how every time he gets an opportunity, he goes straight to the top. Austin Theory says Montez Ford chokes when he gets opportunities, and Angelo Dawkins steps to Austin Theory, which is how the match comes to be. And then Austin Theory asks what the Street Profits are doing at WrestleMania, and he says nothing, which is true. I don't think the Street Profits are doing anything at WrestleMania. Seems like they're leaving a lot of people off the card to have a short WrestleMania. In that case, you could have just combined both nights into one night. So afterwards, we get Angelo Dawkins versus Austin Theory, which was a decent match. I didn't think it was a bad match. But of course, Austin Theory is victorious as he picks up some momentum going into WrestleMania. Afterwards, Theory adding insult to injury, he does an STF to Angelo Dawkins, but Montez Ford comes to save his partner, and as Austin Theory is leaving, he does a "you can't see me." He's basically mocking Cena at that point. We get a Paul Heyman backstage interview, which is a response to Cody's promo that he cut. He says that they have a problem and they identify it. The Kevin Owens problem will be solved tonight by Solo Sikoa, and Cody is a problem, and he's stupid to make it personal with Roman. He talks about how, of course, it's personal to Cody, that's why he's an interesting challenger. He's basically mocking Roman by acknowledging him on Raw. Heyman says he will give Cody the chance to acknowledge Roman on Raw next week in St. Louis, and Cody will acknowledge him. It will be at this Raw that Roman will decide if Cody is a challenger or a problem. And if Cody is a problem, it's a problem that Roman would like to personally solve. So again, we get a lot of back and forth between Cody and Paul Heyman. We need to get more back and forth between Roman and Cody. There's 19 days left to go towards WrestleMania, so we need more back and forth. We get a Rey Mysterio promo, which we found out on Friday Night SmackDown that Rey Mysterio is the first inductee into this year's Hall of Fame. He thanks the crowd, and the crowd starts chanting that he deserves it, and that they are celebrating the biggest honors of his life. And this award is made from the people who helped him build up his career, and a word from the fans that have supported him. The award is for all of them, not just him. Of course, Dominic interrupts, and he congratulates his dad. Says that he deserves it, because Rey put his entire life into this business. Dominic says that Rey earned that honor at his expense. He says that Rey put his life for this business, chose all the fans instead of being there for his kids. And he asked Rey, how does it feel? Is it an honor that he went all those nights without his dad? He talked about his 8th grade promotion, where Rey was nowhere to be found. He ditched him for WrestleMania. Dominic says that when he turned 16 and was given a new car, he got a BMW over a Mercedes. It kind of reminds me of that MTV show, My Super Sweet 16, where all them spoiled rich kids would cry if they got the wrong car or if it was the wrong color. Rey responds by saying he doesn't know how many times he has to say it. He's not fighting his own son. He still loves him and always will. And so basically Dominic challenges his dad to a match at WrestleMania, but Rey does not accept. And as he is leaving, Dominic says that Rey is doing what he does best. He's running away just like he ran away from him and from Raw. So I have a feeling that this is going to continue all the way up into the Hall of Fame. I think Dominic is going to interrupt his dad's Hall of Fame speech and is going to attack him, which will probably set up the match at Mania. So I feel like this might be a night 2 match. It could be a retirement match. The reason why I say that is because it doesn't make sense for them to be dragging out this feud this long, and then Dom beats Rey. What happens after? So I think it might be a retirement match. I think Rey's going to put his career on the line. We get a very quick backstage segment with Trish, and she says that the only thing Damage Control accomplished was pissing her off. We had Seth Freakin Rollins versus Baron Corbin, which Corbin attacked Seth Rollins before the start of the match. This was an okay match. Of course, Seth Rollins won. Was not the biggest fan of this match, and again, with Corbin's losing streak and him getting separated from JBL, kind of seems like they're going back to Broke Baron, which was actually a fun gimmick. I was actually enjoying that gimmick. We get another segment with Chad Gable, who is looking for Otis, and he bumps into Mustafa Ali. And Mustafa Ali tells him to be positive, and sometimes what you're looking for is right around the corner. And then you see Otis being a model with the Maximum Male models. Seriously, we should get like a whole Zoolander thing going on here. I think that'd be really fun. And the Maximum models say that they can compete tonight, but you see Otis is like modeling like a little vest and stuff, and he basically chooses Maxine over Chad Gable. So I have a feeling that they're gonna. I think this is the beginning of the end for Alpha Academy. I like Alpha Academy, but I feel like they're definitely planting the seeds for a split. And I'm very curious to see how they're gonna handle this split. Like, I know normally in the past, whenever they split, somebody turned heel and attacked their tag team partner. I mean, look what they did with Heavy Missionary. Tucker attacked Otis. So I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do with this. Like, how are they just gonna like just split them up one day, like with Otis going with Maximum Male models, or like what? I'm very curious to see how they handle this split. We get Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green, who is accompanied to the ring by Carmella. Match was actually not bad. Like, of course, Bianca Belair is victorious. She has momentum going into WrestleMania. And at the end, Chelsea Green and Carmella attempt to attack Bianca, but Asuka comes out and help her. And before Asuka even hands the title back to Bianca, she like has this little fun with the title, and then she hands it back to Bianca. And we find out next week, you know where this is going. Tag team match player, holla. It's going to be Asuka and Bianca versus Chelsea Green and Carmella. And our main event is a street fight with Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa, which was not a bad match. But of course, because there's no DQ, the Usos got involved in this. Solo took Kevin Owens to the back, where the Usos were waiting for him, and they super kicked him, and then they dragged him back to the ring. They did a double super kick, and then Solo Sikoa hit the Samoan spike, and he ended up being victorious. And Raw went off the air with the Bloodline, well, 3/4 of the Bloodline, I should say, standing tall. Of course, no one came out to Kevin Owens' aid, but like I keep mentioning, we are 19 days away from next week. Is the last week before the go home shows. And we have got to reunite Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn next week so that they can call out the Usos. I really hope they don't wait till like the last possible moment to reunite Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and then have them call out the Usos. So I'm just waiting for that moment, and they're dragging. I feel like at this point they're just dragging. Kevin Owens refusing to tag with Sami at this point. But overall, tonight's show just kind of felt a bit lackluster. Honestly, I really liked the Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight match. Good promo by Cody. I didn't really care for Elias versus Bronson Reed or Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. The street fight wasn't too bad. Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green wasn't too bad. But aside from that, everything else, well, in the opening with Edge and Finn Balor wasn't bad either. But that tag match, I'm gonna give this Raw a 5 out of 10. Like, I don't know what's been going on with Monday Night Raw as of late, but I feel like it's gone downhill a little bit, and we're supposed to be building towards WrestleMania. This Raw did not make me excited for WrestleMania. I will say that much right now. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys Wednesday after Dynamite. Unfortunately, not live yet. Hopefully by next week I can go back to live streaming. So I'll see you guys Wednesday.